Zootopia 2. I think I know what the story will be. Warning, this video contains heavy speculation as well as my own theories. There isn't even a trailer out for this movie yet. This video is just me guessing the story, or what I think it might be, using some news reports that I've already found. Also, it should be obvious that I'm going to talk spoilers for the original movie if you haven't seen it. You have been warned. Zootopia. It's a good movie with a good moral of not giving into bias, that has some great characters and some really interesting story ideas. Back in 2016 when this film was released, people and audiences fell in love with the dynamic between Nick and Judy, as well as the world of the story and the ideas presented with the film. And it's not hard to see why. This film is beautiful, and it's clearly a labour of love, with many small details hidden all throughout the film. It's also one of Disney's only films with an all-animal animated character set since Robin Hood and, of course, Chicken Little. Now, putting that aside, let's just get back to what I was saying with the film being really good. And of course, with the film being this good, it only meant that Disney would make more and more of Zootopia for the new fans who came to love the film. Recently, it was also announced that animation fans would be getting a sequel later this year. A couple of years ago, we also received a series of shorts focusing on exploring the world and the characters. Now, recently I rewatched the film again and really enjoyed myself. I spotted some small hiccups with the film, but really, no movie is perfect. And hey, the film is still largely really good. Now, a few of these things, in addition to a few other things I've been thinking about, have got me thinking about what the story of the sequel will be focused on. But hey, before we get into that, let's just go through a quick summary of the first movie's plot in order to make sure that everybody understands what we're talking about. Okay, get ready for spoilers. Summary begins 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Zootopia, a city where all animals, both predator and prey, live in peace and harmony. Relatively. Meet Judy Hopps. She is, of course, a rabbit, and she dreams of growing up to be a police officer in Zootopia. She's all grown up now, and has managed to avoid being crushed by a rhino in basic training. She's moved to Zootopia now, after receiving her badge from obviously Mayor not the villain, and Assistant Mayor obviously the villain. In the city, she realises that her boss is an asshole, and she gets herself a promotion to detective, as well as a supposedly unsolvable case. So, Judy teams up with Nick, the slyest fox in the city, despite the movie's moral about stereotyping being wrong except for when it's right, I guess. And hijinks ensue, as the two work to stop an evil plot. Overly simplistic summary over. Okay, right. Now that summary's over, let's get right into it. Zootopia 2. Will it be a buddy cop comedy in the same vein as the original? Well, I think so. But remember, the first film came out in 2016, and it's been 8 years nearly. I know, it hurts. But still, a lot has happened in that time period, so I think you might know where I'm going with this. Today, people's attitudes towards the police have changed. And people today also feel, for better or for worse, like a bit weary around our legal processes. So, how will this be reflected in the new film? Or will it even be reflected in the movie? I think the answer is yes. Why? Well, earlier this year, we got some footage released from the Annecy Animation Festival in France. And well, the people who got to attend the festival saw apparently something like this, which is interesting. Now that I've read the article, there apparently isn't much to the footage that was released there, but what is there is something that I think works well with a theory I've had for the sequel, which is that Nick and Judy's own relationship will be something analogous for that of a relationship between the ZPD and the rest of the city. And before anyone calls me crazy with this idea, please, let me refer you back to Assistant Mayor Bellwether being the last film's villain, whose entire evil plan evolved around fabricating a conspiracy in order to oppress and expel an underrepresented minority of predator animals. So honestly, I don't think the idea is really that far-fetched. Fetched animal pun. Anyway, with that established, what do I think the film's story will be about? Well, I don't know. Not exactly anyway. But what I think the story might be about is some sort of schism within the ZPD that could be brought on by some sort of snake character we've heard about, but I don't want to put anything to that too concretely. But this is something that I think is important enough to mention. What is important is that I think this schism will revolve largely around the ZPD's place in the city, with Nick and Judy's relationship being analogous for that, with Nick and Judy maybe even taking sides within this schism. Maybe it would be something like a struggle for whether or not the ZPD is too forceful or not forceful enough. Nick and Judy could end up taking their own sides with just how police work should be conducted, with it then bleeding in to their own relationship as they go through counselling with one another. And yeah, I think that's a good idea for what could be happening here. Because then the story of the film could be something where Nick and Judy work together on a new case that helps build their own relationship for the better, as well as the relationship between the ZPD and the rest of the city. Now, I can't precisely predict what characters are going to do or what exactly is going to happen, but I do still think that this idea for the story playing out with the ZPD and its relationship with the rest of the city is something that I think has merit, especially considering just how much our own world's relationship with its respective police agencies has changed. And I mean, you can see how this was presented with the first film as well. In the first film, Judy's own relationship with the ZPD was something that was analogous for a lot of different people's own relationships within their own respective police agencies. And I'm sure it was something that inspired a lot of other young people to go out there and want to be police officers, just as a lot of other police officers remember seeing some sort of character like this and then being inspired to go out and become an officer themselves. Now, just to clarify a few things, I want to say that this is just my theory for what the theme of this next film could be. Again, I'm not saying that I know what the story is or that I've predicted the entire film already. I'm just spitballing ideas here, just theorizing and having a little bit of fun with this story, because I remember when the first film came out and a lot has changed since then. I mean, it's been so many years. I don't want to think about how long it's been. God damn. But anyway, this movie has a lot to live up to with just the quality of the first film as well. The first film was something that a lot of different people enjoyed for a lot of different reasons, with Nick and Judy being something that a lot of people really enjoyed seeing. And honestly, I think seeing their relationship again is going to be something that's going to be a lot to just really entertain people, because of course, if this article is correct, then there's going to be a lot of different opportunities for wacky hijinks and just funny quips in this film between these two characters, just as there was in the last film. And lastly, just to clarify one more thing, I don't want to say that this has to be like any particular big part of the film, this theme or this like idea of how our own world should be inspiring this film. No, I'm just saying that this could be a neat thing to explore if the film's creators did choose to actually explore any of this idea at all. So yes, if you couldn't tell, I'm exceptionally excited for Zootopia 2 or Zootropolis 2, take your pick for whatever name you like. But yeah, now please, with all of this said, let me know what you think of my theory in the comments below, and let me know if you think you know what the story will be. Anyway, I hope you all liked the video. Thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, and do all the YouTube stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!